As we continue to talk about the 76ers, one story that won't go away is, of course, Markelle Fultz. If we remember what happened to him, he had a shoulder injury last year, which led to him kind of missing some games and not making the playoffs last year for Markelle Fultz, that is. And then this year, it looks like that same shoulder injury carried on into this season. And many of us are questioning whether or not it's psychological or if it's physical. And in my opinion, I made a video last week talking about it, and I said that it was a little bit psychological, and I think that the 76ers should not trade him away and should actually help him out and see what he can do. But that's not what this rumor is going to be talking about. With this rumor here in this video, the 76ers executives are expecting and demanding a first-round pick for Markelle Fultz, and not a low one. And this is, of course, coming from the Inquirer, Keith Pompey. I don't know if I spelled his name right, but that's what he says, and this is what the article goes on to say, written by him. Sixers ownership want a first-round pick and not a low one in return for Markelle Fultz. Conflicted on whether the team should just cut their losses with Fultz or hope he figures out his struggles, Sixers executives view Fultz becoming a star for another team worse than him remaining a Sixer and continuing to struggle, and that they would rather have to look themselves in the mirror if Fultz does become a star if he does get traded. Executives around the league believe the 76ers will lower their demand as the trade deadline approaches. And you know what? I agree with those GMs and executives that believe that they will lower their price, because they need to. Because if we look at everything that's going on with Markelle Fultz, it looks to me that it's a mental injury. It's not a physical one. I know that he's been diagnosed a physical one, but to me, when you go through about 20 to 25 doctors, I don't know how many doctors he went to, but it looks like he went to a lot of specialists to figure out what's wrong with him. When you have to do that, it tells me that you're praying and hoping that one doctor will say he's got something, because every other doctor, everyone else has said that he is fine. So I think that is my problem with the 76ers, that they were looking for an excuse to say, see, look, he's actually hurt. So, let's see if we can get a first round pick for him. Instead of trying to help this kid out and trying to figure out his mental struggles, instead of helping him and his family out, you decide, you know what, it's better to cut our losses, see if he becomes a superstar somewhere else, than helping him recover and become a player that could be capable of playing in this league. And I said this before in my last week's video talking about Markelle Fultz. Let him play in the G League. Let him develop down there, and let's see if he can go up and eventually get to the NBA. I understand that he, as an NBA player, isn't a bad player, but he's just not a starter or even bench player type of player. Instead, see if the G League, see if he can become a star there, and then maybe he can eventually work his way up to the NBA. I don't get why the 76ers wouldn't just do that instead of just giving up on the kid. To me, when you give up on the kid, it means that you really didn't care about him. And we've seen what happens when you trust the process. They've only hit on, 2 picks, really, that have worked out well. You had the Joel Embiid, which is, of course, no-brainer, and then Ben Simmons, which is another no-brainer. I mean, those two worked as well, very well. And then you had guys like Jahlil Okafor, Nerlens Noel, many other guys like those guys, and even Markelle Fultz you can throw into that conversation of what is happening now with the 76ers. It's just a shame that the 76ers aren't willing to work with him, see if they can boost his confidence up by, like I said, take him down to the G League. I think this whole injury is psychological, and like I said, I don't think any team should be really trading for him. I think the 76ers should do their job, should do their due diligence to make sure that this kid has the right tools and pieces necessary to recover from a mental state of injury. And I think that's the problem I have with the 76ers, is that they looks like seemingly don't care about his mental state and have only cared about his physical state, because they see that, oh look, he did have an injury, so that means he has more trade value than if it was psychological. Because if you said, hey, he has a psychological injury, people are going to be like, well, that's going to be kind of hard to overcome. We're probably not going to give you a second round pick. We're probably going to give you a bench player and 2 pennies is what they're going to say. And we know that the 76ers really want a big marquee player or even a first round pick, because they feel that trust the process is still going on, because they don't know whether or not Jimmy Butler will re-sign or whether or not that fit will work well in the 76ers. Even though right now it's working pretty well, you never know these days of what's going to happen. But like I said, I mean, this is what just frustrates me about the 76ers, is that they've had all this time to build their process. They could have done it like the LA Lakers. They could have done it like the Boston Celtics. Instead, they did it their own way, and now they're in this chaotic mess that, Joel Embiid is upset that Jimmy Butler joined the team because he felt that he should be playing better. He feels like he should be playing in back-to-backs. I mean, it's just causing this whole, chaotic circle, this chaotic mess around the 76ers. And even if they are to get the 3rd seed or the 4th seed in the East, are they really going to be a cohesive unit when it comes down to crunch time? We all know what happened last season. I understand that now that you have Jimmy Butler, it may be a different story. But I just feel like the Toronto Raptors, the Boston Celtics are too good of teams in terms of chemistry-wise. And I know that a lot of people are laughing at the Celtics thing, but I think they are playing pretty well. Even though, you know, they got their 8-game win streak got snapped by the Detroit Pistons, I still think that they're a cohesive unit and they play together for Brad Stevens. Meanwhile, the 76ers, I don't know who they play for. And like I said, maybe they should fire the coach. Maybe they should get somebody in so that way they can work with those guys. But that's just my opinion. I want to know what you guys think of this whole Markelle Fultz story, trading him for a first-round pick. Also, how do you think Elton Brand has done in his first season? I guess he's still in his mid-season. How do you think so far before the trade deadline has Elton Brand done in his first mid-season? Do you guys like the moves that he made? Do you dislike the moves that he made? And what do you guys think of the Markelle Fultz thing about trading him for a first-round pick or even anything? If you were a team, you know, a fan of any other team, would you want to trade for Markelle Fultz? That's the question I want to ask you guys. But anyway, guys, this has been your boy Bernie here on The Charge, giving the latest NBA news and rumors and also basketball opinions. And guys, if you have not subscribed to the channel, go and do so. Hit that subscribe button and also that notification bell to make sure that you don't miss our awesome NBA content like this one that we're talking about today and other ones like our Fixer Uppers. But anyway, guys, this has been your boy Bernie, and I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.